Hello, good afternoon, dobar dan, dobrodošli u još jednu novu video lekciju za engleski jezik. Čitam vam opet neke interesantne priče iz moje elektronske knjige. Opet sam našla 3 koje su mi bile veoma smešne. Dakle, učimo nove reči, učimo nešto nove gramatike ili obnavljamo. Naravno, ovakve video lekcije su pogodne za sve vas koji ste, da kažemo, na nekom srednjem nivou. Dakle, niste početnici, već ste nešto učili, ali opet ima tu dosta stvari koje još možete da obnovite i naučite. Dakle, lekcije za srednji nivo. Krećemo odmah. Krećemo, prva priča. Dear Mom and Dad, I feel miserable because I have to keep asking for money. I feel ashamed and unhappy. I have to ask for another 100, and I beg you to forgive me. Your son, Marvin. P.S. I felt so terrible. I ran after the mailman who picked this up in the box at the corner. I wanted to take this letter and burn it. I prayed that I could get it back, but it was too late. A few days later, he received a letter from his father, and it said, "Your prayers were answered. Your letter never arrived." Okay, so let's translate it. Dear Mom and Dad, dragi mama i tata, I feel miserable. Osjećam se užasno, očajno, mizerno, because I have to keep asking for money. Jer moram da stalno od vas tražim novac. I feel ashamed, I feel unhappy. Osjećam se posramljeno, nesrećno. I have to ask for another 100. Moram da zatražim još jednu stotku, još $100, eura. And I beg you to forgive me. I preklinjem vas, molim vas da mi oprostite. Vaš sin. P.S. I felt so terrible. Osjećala sam se tako užasno. I ran after the mailman. Trčao sam za poštarom who picked this up in the box at the corner, koji je pokupio ovo pismo iz kutije na uglu. I wanted to take this letter. Želeo sam da uzmem ovo pismo and to burn it. I da ga spalim. I prayed. Molio sam se that I could get it back. Da mogu da ga uzmem nazad. But it was too late. Ali bilo je suviše kasno. Poštar je naravno odneo pismo. A few days later, nekoliko dana kasnije, he received a letter from his father. Primio pismo od svog oca, u kome piše, Your prayers were answered. Tvoje molitve su uslišene. Your letter never arrived. Tvoje pismo nije ni stiglo. Okay, so I hope you get the point. Nadam se da ste shvatili poentu. Meni je interesantno. Ali dobro, nadam se i vama. Hajde da vidimo malo što se tiče vokabulara i gramatike. I feel miserable because I have to keep asking for money. Interesantna upotreba glagola keep sa još jednim glagolom sa ing nastavkom. Dakle, keep doing something znači nastaviti da nešto radiš. So, I feel miserable because I have to, moram, I have to keep asking you for money. To keep asking you. Da vas stalno opet i opet pitam za novac. So he keeps asking his parents for money. Maybe he's a student. He obviously doesn't live with his parents anymore. But he maybe is a student. He maybe doesn't have a job or anything. So he has to keep asking his parents for money. Or maybe he has a job, but he spends all his money and then he needs to ask his parents for some money. So, and he says that he feels really, really bad. He feels miserable, miserable. And he feels ashamed and unhappy as well. Znači, ashamed, posramljen, unhappy, nesrećen. Ali ipak, I have to ask for another 100. Ali moram, opet kaže, I have to ask for another 100. Moram da zatražim još 100 nečega. I beg you to forgive me. Znači, molim vas, I beg you to forgive me. Ja molim vas da oprostite meni. So to beg, moliti. So he begs them to forgive him. On ih moli, I beg you to forgive me. And then he says, P.S. in the same letter. He says, I felt terrible. I ran after the mailman who picked this up in the box at the corner. Snimamo u prošlo vrijeme. I felt terrible. I ran after the mailman who picked up the letter. Dakle, osjetio sam se užasno nakon što sam poslao pismo. Tako da je nemoguće da on piše ovaj PS u istom pismu, ali dobro. So how did he feel? He felt terrible and miserable, ashamed and unhappy as well. But now he felt terrible. And what did he do? He ran after the mailman. So to run, trčati, run after somebody, juriti nekoga. So he ran after the mailman who picked up the letter. And what did he want? He wanted to take the letter and to burn it. So he didn't want his parents to have it. He didn't want his parents to read that letter because he wrote that letter, but then he regretted writing the letter. Dakle, he regretted, žalio je što je napisao pismo. He regretted doing that. He regretted writing the letter, so he ran after the mailman. He wanted to take the letter back and to burn it, da ga spali, because he was unhappy, ashamed, miserable and terrible. But it was too late. It was too late. He prayed. Again, he prayed, molio se da će uzeti pismo nazad. He prayed that he could get the letter back and burn it and not send it to his parents, but it was too late. So obviously the mailman took it and sent it away. And so his parents obviously received the letter. So his parents they got the letter, dobili su to pismo. But the father was really funny and intelligent man, his father, because he said, your prayers were answered. Tvoje molitve su oslušene. Because previously the son said, I prayed that I could get the letter back. Molim se da mogu da uzmem pismo nazad. And then his father says, okay, your prayers were answered. We didn't get the letter. We didn't receive the letter. So relax. You can relax. You can calm down. So we didn't receive the letter. We won't send you any money. And your prayers were answered. So my prayers were answered. Moje molitve su uslišene. Okay. Interesting one. Let's see another one. A man receives a phone call from his doctor. The doctor says, I have some good news and some bad news. The man says, okay, give me the good news first. The doctor says, the good news is you have 24 hours to live. The man replies, oh no, if that's the good news, then what's the bad news? The doctor says, the bad news is I forgot to call you yesterday. So a man receives a phone call. So a doctor calls him. He receives a phone call. Okay? neki čovek prima telefonski poziv od svog lekara. Lekar kaže, imam dobru vest i lošu vest. Čovek kaže, ok, daj mi prvo good news. Doktor kaže, dobra vest je, imaš još 24 sata života. Čovek odgovara, ne, ako je to dobra vest, šta je onda loša vest? Doktor kaže, loša vest je da sam zaboravio da te pozovem juče. So, to receive a phone call, dakle primiti telefonski poziv, he receives a phone call. Who does he receive a phone call from? Od koga dobije poziv? Who does he receive a phone call from? He receives it from his doctor. What does the doctor say? The doctor says that he has good news and bad news. And which news does the man want to hear first? Bad or good? The man wants to hear the good news first. And doctor says, you have 24 hours to live. That's a good news. You can live, but only for 24 hours. Of course, the man is shocked. And he says, but if that is good news, then what is bad news? The bad news is that I forgot to call you. So I was supposed to call you yesterday to tell you that you would live or that you had 24 hours to live, that you would live for 22 hours, 24 hours more, but I forgot to call you. So now I'm calling you, but it's not 24 hours anymore. It's less. Okay. And just one thing about the word news, as you can see, there is no article before. So we don't say I have a good news and I have a bad news. We cannot say that because news je nebrojiva imenica. So you just say I have good news, I have bad news without an article, bez člana. Next one, and this one is funny. My wife and I went into town and we went into a shop. We were in the shop for about 5 minutes. When we came out, there was a cop, a policeman, writing out a parking ticket. We went up to him and we said, come on, man, how about giving a citizen a break? He ignored us and he continued writing the ticket. I called him bad names. He looked at me angrily and he started writing another ticket for having worn tires. So my wife called him a jerk. He finished the second ticket and put it on the windshield. With the first. And then he started writing a third ticket. This went on for about 20 minutes. The more we abused him, the more tickets he wrote. Personally, we didn't care. We came into town by bus. So, my wife and I went into the town and went into a shop. So, moja žena i ja smo otišli u grad i ušli u prodavnicu. We were in the shop for about 5 minutes. Bili smo u prodavnici otprilike 5 minuta. When we came out, kad smo izašli, there was a cop writing out a parking ticket. Tamo je bio policajac koji je pisao kaznu za parkiranje. We went up to him and said, mi smo mu prišli i rekli, come on, man, hajde, how about giving a citizen a break? Kako bi bilo da give me a break? Give me a break, it means like leave me alone, give me a break, leave me alone, ostavi me na miru. Dakle, možemo reći, hajde, kako bi bilo da ostaviš građanina na miru, a citizen. On nas je ignorisao, he ignored us i continued writing the ticket. Nastavio da piše kaznu. I called him bad names. Nazvao sam ga nekim lošim. Dao sam mu neko loše ime, bukvalno rekao sam mu neku lošu reč. He looked at me angrily. pogledao me ljutito i started writing another ticket. Počeo da piše drugu kaznu for having worn tires, za izlizane gume. So my wife called him a jerk. Tako da mu je moja žena rekla da je idiot. He finished the second ticket, završio drugu kaznu, and put it on the windshield with the first. I stavio na the windshield, nije hauba, how do you say windshield? My brain isn't working right now. I stavio na šoferšajbnu. Then he started writing a third ticket. A onda je počeo da piše treću kaznu. This went on for about 20 minutes. Ovo je trajalo otprilike 20 minuta. The more we abused him, što smo ga više uznemiravali, to je on više kazni pisao. Personally, lično, nama to nije smetalo, we didn't care, nismo marili za to. Došli smo u autobus. We came into town by bus, so they didn't come by car. It was not their car at all. To što nije bio njihov auto. So they were just having fun with the policeman, but policeman was just writing one, and then the second one, and then the third ticket. So he was very, very hardworking policeman, and he wrote many tickets to this for some man whose car that was, so it was not nice because of that man, but these two people, a husband and wife, they had a great fun with the policeman. So where did they go? They went into town, into a shop. How long were they in the shop? They were there for just 5 minutes. What did they see when they come out? They saw a policeman. What was the policeman doing? He was writing a parking ticket. Then these people, they were just started being angry and they called him bad names. They told him that he was a jerk or something like that. The policeman just ignored them. So the policeman didn't react. The policeman didn't say anything. The policeman was just writing the tickets, and putting them on the windshield. Na šoferšajbnu. But these two people, husband and wife, they didn't care because it wasn't their car. They came into town by bus. And the last one. The teacher asked little Johnny, if you found a wallet with 1,000 euros, what would you do? Would you keep the money? Of course I would not, Johnny replied. Excellent. You're really an honest person. And what would you do with the money? The teacher asked. I would spend it, of course, he answered. So, nas učiteljica je pitala Johnnyja, ako bi ti našao novčanik sa 1000 eura, šta bi uradio? Da li bi zadržao novac? Naravno da ne bih, Johnny je odgovorio. Izvrsno, ti si veoma poštena osoba. I šta bi ti uradio sa novcem? Učiteljica je pitala. Potrošio bih ga, naravno. So he would not keep it. He said I wouldn't keep it, but he would not give it back. He would just spend the money. He would spend the money. So there was a misunderstanding between Johnny and the teacher. So the teacher thought that he was an honest person, that he would go maybe to the police and tell them that he found the wallet, but no. He wasn't going to do that. He just wanted to spend the money. And ovdje imamo lepo upotrebu drugog kondicionala. So what would happen if you found some money? So if plus past simple, if you found some money, what would you do? Šta bi uradio? Would you keep the money? Da li bi zadržao novac? Would you keep the money? I would not keep the money. What would you do? I would spend it. Znači sve vrijeme se koristi to would, zato što je to neka nerealna situacija. Dakle, šta bi bilo kad bi bilo? If you found the money, what would you do? I would not keep the money. I would spend it. Okay, that's it for today. See you next time. Bye.